News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. One of the things I did today was call my roofer. And he is also a sponsor, and he's also a friend. He's been a friend of my family's for around a decade or so now, and I'm grateful that I have a roofing company that I can trust and that allows me to tell you how awesome they are on the air. And I'm grateful that Rob and I were able to talk for a few minutes on his very busy day. But what I'm really most grateful for is the fact that he told me about some members of his church who literally were part of that tornado. It was horrifying what he told me about. So I want to first talk about some of that. But Rob, thank you for joining us on the Chris Crock Show. Again, my friend and my sponsor from RoofingReformation.com. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. And
considering.
Yeah, especially after talking to you. Tell me, because sure, I sent you pictures. It took forever for some of these pictures to ever even go through and all that kind of stuff. Felt like these are first world problems, but nonetheless, I'm like, dude, I have no internet, no power, no nothing. Can't even send you a picture. But tell me about what happened to your friends at the church there, family members of your church, because it was pretty scary what they went through.
We had some folks at church. We had several folks at church who experienced some destructive things with the tornado on Saturday. But one family in particular up in Valley View, I think the tornado must have just come down right on them. One house, they have a kind of a multi-generational property where the parents had a larger property and they built a house for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got their kids and the grandkids there. And fortunately, by the grace of the Lord, they were out of town.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just them and their next to oldest son. And they hunkered down in one of the houses, and the other house got destroyed, just demolished, and the other one, the roof torn off. And, the Lord was good.
They were in the house, though. They were in the house taking shelter when the roof was ripped off. Is that accurate, what you told me?
Yeah. Yep. And I love, like you, our refuge is the Lord, and
yes.
And I love the response of.
Tell me about that. Your church, you said,
like that. Yeah. They first of all, they just say praise the Lord, right? The Lord was gracious to us, and we're safe, and and I love that whenever that's the response over glory to God over the loss of stuff, because the loss of stuff really does stink. There's a lot of memories that go up through the roof. It's hard. But if I can, I'd like to share a verse.
Okay.
That came. So Psalm 57. There's two Psalms. In a time like this, right? But Psalm 57:1 says, "Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me, for in you my soul takes refuge. In the shadow of your wings I will take refuge till the storms of destruction pass by." And then in Psalm 107 it says, "He made the storm be still, and the waves of the sea were hushed." And I think there's comfort in that. And I told you that as I drove around here in Pilot Point, where I live, we were fortunate. We're at the kind of in the lowlands around the lake, and it went over us and over Pilot Point. But there were 150-year-old trees, probably, just big trees that were ripped up out of the ground, which is amazing to see.
Yeah,
that these big, huge trees just ripped up by the root ball. And I drove by these houses where the trees just missed house after house after house. Yeah, I thought, man, the Lord's good to them. The Lord's been good to them. But that's not to say everybody got out unscathed. There were definitely some roofs and houses that were damaged.
What, Rob Vaughan from Reformation.com, what's your assessment? What are the assessment that of you seen of your area where Valley View is by your area there? We're at a Pilot Point. And what is the assessment of that area of North Texas from what you've seen and what you've heard as a roofing professional and a construction professional with the damage that's been done to people's houses in these storms? What's your assessment of your area and the Metroplex between Saturday's tornadoes and this morning's horrific storms?
Well, in terms of
damage overall,
damage, physical property, a lot of it, like my partner was on, he just messaged me a minute ago and said he was on 10 roofs today. And if you're just getting on 10 roofs to take a look, that's a busy day. But he was doing the repairs and things like that. He was ready to be done because a lot of times, these things are just wind damage. And so insurance companies aren't really going to cover, in a lot of cases, wind damage. They'll cover hail and they'll cover a tree falling on your house like we discussed about yours.
Yes. Thank God. I hate to say it, but thank God I'm covered because of this. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. Because they may a lot of times don't cover it. So what we'll do is, if we can, we'll just do a repair, and then some of the larger ones we got to come back and do repair. Because of trees, then it's better because the insurance company will help out with some of those things. But we've just seen mostly, thankfully, really for people, we've seen mostly just wind damage. But yeah, it's the trees landing on houses and things like that cause not just roof damage, but potential structural damage. And that's where it gets a little bit more in depth. And if you have, I think on maybe one of the news things that I saw, there was a roof that came, a tree that came through a roof. And then, of course, you got the rain coming in, and then you got water damage inside the house, and it's just a domino effect. And we do a lot of roofs, but you remember meeting Landry Jones. He heads up doing some remodeling with our company as well. And so we're there for that. We're there for that as well.
So you're seeing widespread damage in your area of North Denton County, but also throughout the Metroplex too. What are some of the other areas hit horribly hard? It looks like it's so many places, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, that's
it's kind of everywhere.
Because we took shelter in our closet in our master bedroom, and that was Saturday for that tornado. Yes. Which, by the way, just as a side note, you had mentioned we've known each other for maybe 10 years or so.
Yeah.
When our sons met,
yes,
they were playing
video games together on Xbox.
They were playing what is that one? Roblox?
Something
Minecraft.
Like that. Minecraft. Yes.
They were playing Minecraft online, and now just Sunday, my son proposed to his girlfriend. And,
wow.
And they're engaged.
That's right. So, mine proposed too, so they're all caught up. Well, I want to ask.
Wow.
Yes, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, we're swapping the info. So here's what I want to ask you about: what to do now, because so many people are calling in tonight and telling me they got issues. They still haven't had a roofer. That's your job, obviously. That's what you do. So I want to help you to help people for what to do now on what they should be checking for, going on the roof or not going on the roof, and then that kind of stuff. Can you hang on for that coming up next?
Sure.
Okay, Robert, if folks want to get in touch with you tonight to get this roofing stuff going?
If they want to get in touch with me, I'm going to give a different number just for tonight to help spread this out, but it's you could text, call, whatever. The calls all forward to this number, but if you want to text, 469-321-5201. That's 469-321-5201. That'll help us kind of spread out the calls that we're getting.
Okay, 469-321-5201.
That is it.
Also, they can go to roofingreformation.com if they have internet, like I do here, but not when I go home. Okay, stand by, Rob. That's what I want to ask you about next is scammers, what to beware from scammers, and how to check everything at their house when they should call you or whether they should or shouldn't. Okay, sir, stand by, okay?
You got it.
All right, there he is, Rob Vaughan, roofingreformation.com. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. And here's the deal. My sponsor, one of my many sponsors is Rob Vaughan, my friend, and the owner of roofingreformation.com. Rob, thanks for joining us at a very busy time in your schedule. This is like the most busiest day of the year. I'm guessing. I have no idea what it's going to be like for the year.
Well, yeah, I don't know what a busy day is. I know what a busy season is.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's definitely that this year.
So, Rob, first of all, thanks again for joining me for a little bit longer here on the Chris Crock Show. What to do now? That's my big question next, because maybe you don't know, maybe you don't have a tree in your house, but you think you have damage, but you don't know. My neighbor has shingles in his yard that blew off, so that means I might have damage too. Like, how do you? So, what do you do? If you do want to get on your roof, should you get on your roof? If so, what do you do and don't do from your recommendations from what you've seen, and then also what to look for as a homeowner and what to look for in getting a good roofer and what to not use for a roofer, who not to hire. Yeah.
I don't ever want to say yay or nay on getting on your own roof. Some are capable, some like yourself, I think you said you almost fell off, right?
Get out of here, liar! You're like Michael Cohen. You're the gloat, the greatest liar of all time. Gloat.
Yeah. Well, so here's some things that we've seen, and what's funny is my mom. They live in a place next door to us. Picked up shingles from our property. Yeah. And what will happen is, think about it. In a storm like what we had, you pick up shingles and you think, oh man, I must have roof damage, and you may. But in our example, we did not, and none of my neighbors lost shingles. Where did those come from? Well, gosh, we went through a tornado, so who knows where they dropped from. But, you pick up shingles, things like that. You've been in a storm, so it's possible that it's from your house, but it's possible that it's from a quarter mile away, So, but there are going to be a lot of door knockers. There's going to be things like that. And one of the things that we were talking about, and you sent me information as well, like for the Better Business Bureau, saying just, ask for an ID, ask for their solicitation permit if your city requires it. We don't do that. We don't actually do door to door. We only are by referral, and for folks that listen to your show, the millions of people that listen to your show. Mm-hmm. And we don't...
Hundreds of millions. Go ahead.
Yeah, hundreds of billions.
Thank you. Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly. One of the things that it mentions is like looking for a business name, phone number, Texas license plate, things like that, because they'll drive down here from Oklahoma or wherever, to get business. And those are literally storm chasers.
You don't want them. Basically, you and I agree, don't ever hire somebody that comes to your door.
Yeah,
soliciting.
I would say that, yes. There may be something here and there, but to me, in the roofing industry,
that's bad.
And a lot, let's just say a lot of construction and things like that. You want to use somebody that you either know or was referred by somebody that you know that has a reputation.
Agreed.
So yeah,
Agreed.
I'm against it by and large.
I agree. Okay, so what do we look for physical damage? Is there anything we can do to inspect it? Really can show it, or do you recommend if you think you have damage just to call you guys, or somebody they trust?
Yeah. So if you have what's called a 3-tab roof, it's pretty easy to spot whether or not you've got wind damage. And if you have a 3-tab roof, you probably do. I don't know why we install 3-tab roofs anymore, but those are those shingles that look they're flat, and you just see one shingle in line with the next, in line with the next.
Oh, I've never seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's more common on older homes and some of the cheaper builds, but generally your roof should have what I'll say a multi-dimensional product, and they withstand the wind a little bit better. But a 3-tab roof, it's almost guaranteed with all of this wind that you probably have some damage. But you can look up on your roof and see whether or not you've lost shingles generally. Okay. Or they've started lifting and buckling up. So
what do we I don't know what else we can do here. Is just a roofer themselves, what to look for. You've already kind of given us that. And if you're not sure, it's still usually it's free to get a good roofer to get on your house and give you an estimate, right?
Yeah. So what we would do is we would either, number one, we're going to get up there and either do a quick repair and, give you our card and say, just remember us in the future. If it's something significant, we'll give you an estimate. And if we could tell that the insurance company needs to get out there and you need to file a claim, we'll just let you know that. And say, give us a call when the adjuster plans to show, and we'll come out and meet them, shake hands with them, let them know we're not an enemy, and that'll be that. Yeah, and we take it from there. Okay,
all right. If they want to get in touch with you, Rob, how can they do that?
Again, for the sake of spreading it out, just tonight, your listeners can text or call, but 469-321-5201. That's 469-321-5201. Email me at rob@roofingreformation.com. And then you can also connect with us through our website at roofingreformation.com.
All right. I will let everybody know that again. So email you at rob@roofingreformation.com, rob@roofingreformation.com, or call 469-321-5201, 469-321-5201, because there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of issues, a lot of estimates, a lot of help desired from a lot of people. And thank you for, I'm on your calendar already, so thank you. And I look forward to all the good stories we'll get from our listeners. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Tomorrow, by the way, just to update you on that.
Oh, I might get looked at tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Thank you very much, and grateful to know you guys have a tree person, you got a gutter person, you got a construction wing of your whole group. Thank you. I'm gonna possibly need all. So thank you very much.
All right. Have a good one.
See you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was that, and now we have the big story of the day. If we did not get hit by a storm, the big story of the day would clearly be Trump trial. The closing arguments are done, and it goes to the jury tomorrow morning. Can you freaking believe this? I literally don't know how to get ready for this. I'm like, it could go any way. Who knows, right? All right, we'll get to that coming up next in the Chris Crock Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. We're going to have, I invited officially a Encore spokesperson on. We're going to see how quickly even they have to give us a call back, because with media, which is highly unusual for their media people not to be able to, pick it up right away on their media hotline. But nonetheless, I assume that they will get a representative on to tell us what the latest is, okay? But the second biggest story of the day that would have led the entire show had we no storm damage, and on Saturday, a tornado that took 7 lives, unfortunately, from 7 precious souls, including in some cases an entire family, it seems like, from everything we've seen, much to the horror of everybody in Valley View, which is in that extreme North Denton County area. A lot of us have a lot of power out, and last time I left my house, I have no power. So, all right. So that is the latest on that. Meantime, the Trump trial going on today. I'm going to play some reaction, and we have probably an A-list. Would you consider Dennis Quaid an A-lister or a B-lister? You know who he is? Yeah, you know who he is, right? If he's not an A-lister, he's close to it, right? No? Yeah? Yeah, he doesn't. Okay, anyways, Dennis Quaid, if you haven't heard, actually endorsed Trump today. I'll play you that audio. It's beyond incredible to me, that guy, because he's not his brother. His brother Randy, right, who was in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, he's been rabidly pro-Trump and also, from my understanding, and way out there too on some other things like whoa, dude. But anyways, this is his brother, who's a lot more mainstream. Anyway, coming up right now, actually, I want to get into the Trump trial. I've got audio to play for you, but I want to get right to you and ask you this. We got Robert De Niro. Literally, I think he took himself down a peg. Let me play you the first thing right now is Robert De Niro getting heckled. But the whole thing is this. This is a joke. The prosecution finally, in its closing argument, do you understand this? The defense had no idea what they were even being charged with. Have you ever heard of a defendant not knowing what they're being charged with until the end of the trial? Can you imagine you personally being put on trial and not even knowing what the freaking charges are and your defense team not knowing what the charges are until the freaking closing arguments? Can you imagine this? This is a disgrace. And that, by the way, is what Dennis Quaid says, that this is complete lawfare. It's a joke, and the country's become a joke with this president. And for this disgusting president to have the president of the United States team, the Democrat, the Joe Biden team, hold a press conference at Donald Trump's trial is no different than Venezuela. Hugo Chavez, who's now preceded by Nicolas Maduro, who's not the legitimate president of Venezuela. It's Juan Guaido, but he was chased out by this communist dictatorship of Venezuela. And now, by the way, he's sending all of his illegals here. Joe is letting all of them in. Robert De Niro has cuckolded himself today. He's been cuckolded by his appearance and disgraced by the Trump supporters there. Let's hear that right now. 800-288-WBAP is our number. I want to know from you, do you think Trump's going to be found guilty? Tomorrow morning it goes to the jury. And you know how these things work. That jury could decide tomorrow morning. We might have a verdict within an hour. And I'd love for you to tell me how long you think the jury is going to take and what do you think is going to be their decision. This judge, who is, as you know, a woke joke, who literally, as you know, is a rabid Biden supporter, has donated to him twice. His daughter is making millions right now for the Biden campaign, putting together campaign ads, I believe is what she does, or lobbying or something of that nature. I think she puts together campaign ads, campaign stuff to get Democrats elected, in this case, Joe Biden. So she's making millions off of what her dad's doing right now. This is unconscionable. I have not heard anyone, repeat, I have not heard anyone who thinks that this jury, whatever they decide, I have not heard one legal defendant team member on fake news CNN or on Fox News. Half of the ones on fake news MSNBC also think this is a bad case. But I've not heard anyone say that this won't get overturned in an appeal. And the whole idea is to not get this turned over, is to not worry about what happens on the appeal. They know they're going to lose the appeal, but this is to destroy Donald Trump and to rig the election. This is electioneering to the utmost degree. This is beyond disgusting. This is beyond angering. It is a destruction of this country. And Joe Biden, since he cannot win this election, has to destroy the country to win it again. This is an outrage. You can tell it in my voice. I want to scream. They don't want me screaming on the air. I understand that. Only Mark Levin can get away with that because he's the great one. You big dummy! Mr. Producer! Get off of my phone! All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think we're going to find guilt or innocence tomorrow? That they're going to find guilt or innocence tomorrow? Do you think Trump's guilty? And how soon do you think we're going to get a verdict in? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. And your reaction to Joe Biden enlisting Robert De Niro, literally the Joe Biden campaign saying, we want Robert De Niro to speak for us. And did Robert De Niro move you? Did he change your decision on Trump? Did this clown, did this A-word clown, did this A-clown change your mind? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here is, speaking of the clown, here's De Niro.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. I don't mean to scare you. No, wait. Maybe I do mean to scare you.
By the way, did you hear them going F Joe Biden in the background while this idiot's having a news conference? Did you hear that? In the background, they're saying it. Can barely hear it.
Trump returns to the White House. You can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted. And elections, forget about it. Do we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life? It's the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president. We're trying to be gentlemen in this world. The Democrats, you are gangsters. Excuse me. You are gangsters. You're washed up.
Have you ever heard a Joe Biden spokesperson who does a press conference in front of a trial? First of all, have you ever heard of a Joe Biden, any presidential spokesperson doing a press conference in front of the trial of their political enemy? Have you ever heard of a president holding a press conference at a trial anywhere? I don't recall one ever. Do you agree with Joe Biden's decision to cuckold and pimp out Bobby D., Robert De Niro, to embarrass himself, to self-debase himself, not to be redundant? Do you think he moved the needle? Did he change the needle for you? Did Robert De Niro change the needle for you? And what do you think the jury's going to find tomorrow morning? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here is the fake news CNN lawyer saying how bad this case is.
They fell way short. There is reasonable doubt all over this case. Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this. Thought he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. That doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries for legal fees? Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family?
There's absolutely no evidence that Trump directed or knew what Cohen had done. And as Hope Hicks testified, one of the top Trump associates who was in the White House running everything for Trump as his right-hand person, Hope Hicks testified that Michael Cohen didn't fix anything. He broke it, then he was the fixer for what he broke. And that's exactly what this is. And that's exactly what I believe the jury has seen. Now, do you actually believe the jury is going to do what's right here and hand down a not guilty, an acquittal? I don't know what to think. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow morning, and when they have a verdict? And what do you think the verdict's going to be? And how do you think Joe Biden did in having Robert De Niro out there, the official campaign? You think that was okay for the president to have a campaign event right there at the trial? I think it was the most disgusting, horrifying, third world. He's overdone himself tonight. And you're going to hear Dennis Quaid, who, to me is, if he's not an A-lister, he's close to being an A-lister, And you're going to hear him come out today, and I think he represents what a lot of people see in this trial. and what they saw today with Robert De Niro. What a absolute just disgrace. I cannot describe my anger without getting profane, and I can't and won't do that. But it's that angering to me. How about you? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, you're going to hear the Trump, his talk today when he had a 20-minute break from the jury, from the presentation, what do you call it, the closing arguments of his prosecution, I believe. Excuse me, the defense. And then also you're going to hear from, what's his name? Quaid, Randy Quaid, on why he is going to vote for Trump and how he describes it with cusses. I had to get him taken out, but nonetheless with some cusses. He may be a blank, but he's my blank, is what he says. I love that. And it's all swears right there. It's great. That's up next to the Chris Crock Show. Your reaction, what do you think is going to go down in this case? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Lines wide open.
Make no mistake about it. I'm here because of crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. Is destroying our country. This country is being destroyed rapidly, not slowly, rapidly. On the borders, on energy, on inflation, on everything you can name. Afghanistan removal, everything about what he's done. He's destroying our country. And he's also destroying it with weaponization. And this is purely his weaponization.
There he is, Donald Trump, when there was a 20-minute respite in the trial today. I want to hear from you. Did Robert De Niro move you today? Did he change your mind? Here's another incident. He didn't change my mind. In fact, it makes me so angry, I'm disgusted. Second of all, how do you feel about Joe Biden's team having a press conference at the trial of his campaign enemy, his political enemy? Can you believe this? Have you ever seen anything like this in our government? How do you feel about that? Are you as angry as I am? And how do you think this trial is going to, how do you think the jury's going to find it? Goes to the jury tomorrow morning. I am, quite frankly, I have no idea. Half the time I feel like the jury is going to do the right thing and say this is absolutely pathetic. And I think there's a chance half of them might say, no way, this is an acquittal, this is a joke. Do you know this freaking judge told them they don't have to have a unanimous verdict? Do you know that? The judge told them some of these are misdemeanors, so in order to get this thing cooking, so we can really nail on the felony with the election charges, campaign finance charges. Hey, look, you don't have to be unanimous. I am so viscerally, from my gut, I am so viscerally disgusted and angry at this. And I feel hopeless about this country if it gets a guilty verdict. And these SOBs, if this happens, I think they're going to awaken even further of a beast that will, a giant that'll vote this turd out of office, throw this elderly, frail, infirmed, corrupt criminal of a man, fake president to me, in all this, out of office. I do think it'll give Trump a higher landslide. I pray. You cannot change the mind of the idiots, and I don't want to say the idiots. I want to say you can't change the mind of hardened Democrats. They're just going to say, it's like reasoning with a drunkard. There's no reason for doing it. Okay? All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. How do you think the jury's going to rule tomorrow? And do you think the president's going to get a fair trial? Do you think he actually is guilty of something? And how do you think the Biden campaign showing up there, how does that change it for you? What does that mean to you? To me, it means we have a banana republic. We have a dictator, banana president. And I think Robert De Niro totally shamed himself. In fact, if Trump were heckled like De Niro was, our number, by the way, is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open for you. If Trump... Excuse me, De Niro, I should say. If Trump were the one getting heckled like De Niro was, I'm going to play some audio of De Niro getting involved with these people, going back and forth. If Trump had this happen to him, he would have not done this and lost his cool and sworn at these people like Robert De Niro did. By the way, did I even play Dennis Quaid's thing yet? What is wrong with me? Here's Dennis Quaid, and my prayer is that, my hope is that this literally is exactly what the rest of the country sees. Ready? Dennis Quaid officially endorsing Donald J. Trump. This is the best thing of all. Now, you're going to hear in here where there obviously was 2 swears. He uses the word a-hole, but I'm not. I cut it out of the stuff. So basically, you're going to hear just a blank space where he says the word a-hole twice. Here he is, in his own words, Dennis Quaid on the Piers Morgan show, talking about why he is endorsing Trump.
What do you think of Trump?
I think I'm going to vote for him.
Really?
Yeah, in the next election. Yes, I am.
Are you ready for the blowback?
Well, yeah.
Which inevitably comes
well,
with Trump?
I think in this election, everybody's got to, I think they're going to take a side or whatever, but it just seems to me, it just makes sense. I was ready not to vote for Trump until what I saw is more than politics. I see a weaponization of our justice system, and a challenge to our Constitution, and us as Americans, that I don't think we're going to have. And Trump is the most investigated person probably in the history of the world, and they haven't been able to really get him. People might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
Isn't that great? People might call him an a-hole, but he's my a-hole. That's amazing that Dennis Quaid said that. You have no idea. He's going to be destroyed now by Hollywood. But I think he sees his country being so destroyed that he is personally so alarmed that he's like, y'all can kiss my Hollywood butt. I don't need you anymore. And he's done a lot of more American conservative and pro-faith or faith-based type movies that are mainstream, and he's been slowly but surely coming out as just like one of us, disgusted with this all, horrified by it, and repulsed by it. And I'm grateful that he chose to say that. Here is De Niro getting heckled, and this is how you know this. He's debased himself today.
Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up.
So yelling F you at people, at just people on the street that are, heckling him. Do you think Trump would ever do that? Have you ever seen Trump do that? F you, F you, F you. He might call him personal or, get nasty on him, but he wouldn't be like yelling F you at him to their face. That's Robert De Niro. That's Joe Biden's spokesperson today. F you, F you. Robert De Niro yelling at people, telling them to F off. There you go. There's Joe Biden's spokesperson for you. All right, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, we're gonna talk about the latest with Gaza. I've got a few more things on the trial. One of the congresswoman from New York, she sent a letter to the New York officials. She believes there's been misconduct in this New York Supreme Court system that's hearing this case right now, and with the judge, she's making some serious allegations. And she's officially asked for information and asked for investigation. I'm going to tell you about that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. And then we're going to get into, we have horrifying things out of Israel with a father-son Hamas team describing raping the same woman in a tag team before killing her. We also have Joe Biden's pier in Gaza. It's a disaster. Apparently, it's so bad they've spent hundreds of millions. They're going to remove it now, and people are getting shot at. This is a disgrace. This is pathetic. Everything in every direction is disgusting. And by the way, they're in the middle of Rafah right now. They're about to go take the heart of Rafah with tanks. And boy, is Joe Biden angry. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.